Before Fusebox, my first job, I got some work experience from college. Another design company in Newcastle, which is still going actually, called Enigma Interactive. And I worked there for about a month. I was very lucky to get paid for that as well, which is quite good. Mostly putting content into the One Northeast website, I think it was. But that, I think at the time that was the first time I'd ever seen flash animation because someone was working on it. So I jumped on that and started picking people's brains about, oh, how does this work and what does that do? And then one of the guys I worked with there, he started his own company with another guy, literally next door, in a very small office. And I went and sort of did some work for them from a purely sort of creative, just doing illustration work and whatnot. And then eventually sort of just did so many hours and they just said, look, we'll have to give you a job basically, can't kick you out. So I worked there for about a year and a half. Sadly they had to make me redundant, so I went to actually work for one of the clients that we had. That we actually had a good relationship just from actually meeting sort of, on a weekly basis, doing work for them. Just by chance they happened to decide to take some design stuff in-house, so I went and worked for them for about a year and a bit. They expanded too fast and they had me redundant again, and then I freelanced for about a year, which is good if you can do it, but it's not my cup of tea. And then eventually got to the position where I am now, knowing from someone who I used to work at from another company. So it's all kind of like contacts and people you know. I probably know someone from a good 70% of the design companies in Newcastle now, either on a social basis or just through meeting people at like different networking dues or just through different design stuff. So if I, God forbid, if I lose my job tomorrow, I can probably turn around to one of those guys and say like, look, do you know anyone or have you got any opportunities? So it's very sort of useful to get your foot in the door and sort of get to meet people and know people. So, just in that way for your own sort of preservation of career. Any other questions?
What universities would you recommend for an interactive media point of view?
I think the Northumbria one's quite decent, but to be fair, I'm not massively au fait with the actual courses, so I wouldn't want to say this or the other because I don't actually know. So I've had a few people who've gone to the Northumbria one who've done all right from that. Just look into it, research it. If you can, go talk to the students somehow. Do you know what I mean? Go down to the open days or whatever. Try and get hold of someone who's done it. Try and get hold of someone who's been there. That's what the internet's great for. I'm sure you'll be able to figure out some way of like, tracking someone down. Get it from the horse's mouth as it was. Try and find someone who's actually done the course because they've always got a view on it. Do you know what I mean? Because compared to going down and talking to a lecturer, I'll be like, yeah, this is great. Come in here with these courses and say it's great. Do you know what I mean? That's probably what I'd recommend. Yeah, just sort of like look at it from the inside sort of thing and find out what's good. But yeah, I wouldn't really recommend anywhere because I don't actually know, to be fair, so I wouldn't sort of sway you and you get down there and like 2 years time go, that bastard told me not to go. So, okay.
Cost the web changes now, you learn new skills. How do you go about learning new stuff?
Well, we try and specify it especially for the developers, because obviously the language and the stuff that they're doing. Not so much for myself. For me, it's more design stuff and trends and sort of like look at what's working good out there. So find good sort of online websites that pull that sort of information for you. But also from a design perspective, getting down to like exhibitions at the Baltic, getting down to all the different museum stuff. Do you know what I mean? Design events that are on, because all that stuff sort of like filters in and just you sort of remember it, not just sitting in front of the computer and looking online, because you can very much easily just do that and try and find everything you're looking at from online. Do you know what I mean? Try and pull it from everywhere for your inspiration. But the developers try and, if they've got any downtime, which is very rare, they try and use that time to look into new technologies. And if one of the developers finds something that's quite interesting, they'll often like sort of pass it on to everybody else. So if you get a bit of time, have a look at this. Do you know what I mean? Sort of see if it's useful. Because anything like that we find as well, it's going to speed up our time to make our life easier to build something. Or do you know what I mean? Just make it better for the user, then it's better for everyone involved. Do you know what I mean? You spend less time doing it. So it's kind of we try and kind of keep this kind of knowledge base kind of like topped up so everyone's kind of on a similar level. It doesn't always happen that way, but we try our best to do it, especially considering we've got so many different projects running as well. If one developer's away or he's off sick or he decides to leave, which just happen, then we need to make sure someone else can pick up the reins as well. So we have people who are more specified and more specialised in certain subjects. Do you know what I mean? Like the head of development is like particularly good at like user accessibility and whatnot, so we'll put him in for any proposals and meetings we've got to do with that. Got another guy who's like sort of does more work on the e-commerce site, so he's more specialised in that, but we try and make sure that everyone's got the same sort of knowledge, so shared to a certain extent so they can do that. But yeah, just keep an eye on the line, do you know what I mean? It's best place for stuff like that, for the development side stuff. Keep to date on all the trends and the new stuff that people can do, all the Web 2.0 stuff. Means it's all good and stuff. But yeah, just keeping up to date. It's kind of like just looking for stuff online, doesn't it? If you've got that kind of online sort of part of your sort of your life, if you know what I mean, when you're sort of working and stuff, and you're just kind of checking stuff all the time. That's kind of the best way to do it. I think. Publications as well. Do you know what I mean? Pull it from different sources if you can. Okay. Anybody else? Stuff. Right, I hope that was informative. Getting think of any more other questions, even not today, send me an email if you want. I'll try and get back to it if I'm not too busy. Yeah, hope that helped. Thank you very much.